You know something? For all the talk about how divisive we've become as a society, I love the fact that no matter what team you chose, everybody was psyched for this film. I mean, this is why we go to the movies. This is the rematch we've been waiting for nearly 60 years in the making. So, I just got a question for you guys. Team Godzilla, are you ready? Team Kong, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? In the immortal words of the great Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rumble!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, here to bring you all my review of Godzilla versus Kong. How is everyone doing tonight? All right, so real quick, let me set this up so that we can go ahead and just jump into this thing. So, as always, I will be giving you all my spoiler-free portion of the review first. And then for those of you all who have seen the film and would like to stick around, we'll be talking spoilers on the back end of tonight's broadcast. Also, if time permits, I will be going ahead and taking some of you guys' questions and comments. But if you want to make sure that your question or comment gets read live on the air, go ahead and drop a super chat and I'll make sure I get to it before the end of tonight's show. You can also support the channel via PayPal and Cash App. Links are in the description box below. All right, guys, so let's go ahead. I'm going to kick things off with my description. You guys know how this goes. Go ahead, click that description box below. Go ahead and read along with your boy, and let's go ahead and get this thing started, shall we? All right, ladies and gents. So this is my review of the 2021 American monster film Godzilla vs. Kong, starring Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, and Kyle Chandler. And real quick, I'm going to throw in another MVP in this film, probably the MVP of this film, and that is newcomer Kylie Hotel, who plays the character of Gia. I will get into more detail with her later on in this review. All right, the film was directed by Adam Wingard and written by Eric Pearson, Max Borenstein, Terry Rossio, Michael Dougherty, and Zach Shields. It is a sequel to Godzilla, King of the Monsters from 2019, Kong Skull Island from 2017, and Godzilla from 2014, and is the fourth film in the Legendary Pictures MonsterVerse. The film is also the 36th film in the Godzilla franchise and is the 12th film in the King Kong franchise. And a really brief synopsis of the film: Kong and his protectors undertake a perilous journey to find his true home. Along for the ride is Gia, an orphan girl who has a unique and powerful bond with the mighty beast. However, they soon find themselves in the path of an enraged Godzilla as he cuts a swath of destruction across the globe. The initial confrontation between the two titans, instigated by unseen forces, is only the beginning of the mystery that lies deep within the core of the planet. All right, so very brief synopsis of the plot of Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail with that. But real quick, before I jump into that, we already kicking things off. Got a $4.99 super chat from OAW faithful DeJean Patterson Powers. Thanks so much. He says, how do you feel about the new films making Godzilla seem more heroic than an antagonistic force of nature creatures? I will actually get into detail with that when I get into the character portion of this review. So sit tight for me, DeJean. I'm actually going to talk about that because I got some thoughts about not only Godzilla and sort of like the role he plays in Legendary's universe, but also Kong too. Because if you really, because neither one of them are antagonistic. They're both heroes. And it is interesting seeing how they are pitted against each other because of the events of this film. There is some argument that one is more antagonistic than the other, but we'll get to that. So hang on to that thought, and I'll be right back to it. So a little bit more information about the synopsis of this film. So we all know the whole point of the film is to get Godzilla and King Kong fighting each other, right? Get to the main event. That's pretty much what everything that happens in this film is a setup to. However, there is sort of a main plot and like a subplot that kind of help get us to that point. I'll get into a little bit more detail with that when I go into my thoughts of the writing of the plot and things like that, whether or not I thought that these stories were merited, that we actually needed them. But essentially what the main story is Godzilla is ravaging the planet, right? Like he's starting to attack people now. Like he's turned on people. And prior to this film, that wasn't something that is sort of out of character for him. Right. So, of course, you have individuals that don't really care why he's attacking people. Just the fact that he's attacking people is a problem. Meanwhile, Kong has been in containment on Skull Island. And those two sort of separate stories converge because there is speculation that Godzilla is actually hunting Kong. He's after Kong. While this is happening, Alexander Skarsgård character gets approached with a job, essentially. He gets approached by Apex, which is this massive, multi-billion-dollar technology conglomerate. They hire him for a job, and that is to actually get to Hollow Earth, the Hollow Earth, which is sort of the realm where the Titans like Godzilla and Kong and King Ghidorah and all of them, that's where they come from. That's their ancestral home, if you will. So, of course, he's funding the trip. He has invented a vessel that will actually get them there safely. The catch is, though, they need a Titan in order to access the Hollow Earth. Don't ask me why they need a Titan to access Hollow Earth. This is just what we're told in the film, right? So think of it just like Pacific Rim, how the humans in Pacific Rim couldn't access the breach without a kaiju to get into the breach. Same concept. So then that's when it becomes this race to try and get Kong, to Antarctica, where they have the tunnel to Hollow Earth so that he'll be able to access it before Godzilla can get to him. And of course, if you've seen the trailers, you know that Godzilla does eventually show up in the middle of that journey. But once that happens, so that's the setup for the main story, right? And the sub story is that Millie Bobby Brown's character, Maddie, I believe is her name. She teams up with one of Apex's, I guess you could say, like lower tier employees, who also runs a podcast where he shares all of his sort of like speculations and theories. And of course, he's regarded as a conspiracy theorist, but he pretty much on his podcast gives people like all of his theories about what's going on with the Titans, what's going on with the governments and their involvement with them, what's going on with these companies and things of that nature. And he uncovers a mystery that sort of ties into the attack on the Apex facility at the beginning of the movie. And so Maddie and it's Bernie. That's Brian Tyree Henry's name. Maddie and Bernie kind of team up to investigate what's going on with Apex. And of course, this does lead us into the big climax of the film where it's Kong and Godzilla. And that's where our team from the first story meets back up with our team, or I guess cross paths with our team from the second story. And without giving away too much spoilers, it all culminates in this big, massive showdown in the middle of Hong Kong, China. So with that being said, what are my thoughts on the film? Overall thoughts on the film. You guys can probably tell by how enthusiastic I am in this particular review, despite the fact that I'm always enthusiastic on camera. But no, I dug it. I dug it. And you know what's funny about this? Usually when we have these types of movies, like my sentiment towards these, towards Godzilla versus Kong is sort of the same thing I have with like the Transformers films. I'm not there for the humans. I'm there for the monsters. I'm there for the robots. I'm there for the giant spectacle. That's mainly what I go to these movies for, because for the most part, a lot of them don't take the time to actually dwell, to dive into their respective history or their respective mythology. Now, I do know that the last recent films, the Legendary Pictures films, right? So like Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters, they've actually done that, where they actually have sort of gone into a bit of the lore and the mythology and whatnot. But for the most part, it's always in the backdrop, and it's all about how the human characters are reacting to these forces of nature, as DeJean mentioned earlier in his comment, because that's what Kong and Godzilla have always been representative of, right? They are analogies for force of nature or acts of nature. Godzilla is the atomic bomb. He's Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's how that character was created, as an analog, an analogy for the devastation that was wreaked upon Japan during World War II, right? So that's what that's always been about. So typically speaking, usually not a fan of the human characters when it comes to these films. And while I would say that there was still a human character in this film that I'm like, why are you here? For the most part, it didn't bother me. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. And yeah, maybe I am picking favorites because I'm a huge fan of Rebecca Hall. I always have been ever since saw her in The Town. Always been a fan of that actress. Thought she got shafted in Iron Man 3. You guys can go back to my review of that to see what I was talking about that. Maybe I am playing favorites, but I'm going to tell you this. Everything that was going on with Skarsgård and Hall, and like I said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's just jump into the characters, shall we? I'm going to tell you guys off top. MVP of this film, as much as I like me some Alexander Skarsgård, as much as I like Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, I'm becoming a fan of his because I'm starting to see a little bit more of his work. Funny guy. I always thought he was funny. And of course, Millie Bobby Brown looking like, why did y'all see Millie Bobby Brown looking like a young woman now? I was like, oh, girl, go ahead, girl. I see you looking all fly. She was showing out a little. I was like, I see you, girl. I see you. But no. MVP of this film's hands down is Kylie Hotel. I hope I pronounced that right. And she is she's the little deaf girl that is pretty much Kong's confidant, Kong's best friend. You know what I'm saying? Her performance. I mean, look, something has to be said for the fact, you know how child actors always get a bad rep because either they're difficult to work with or they're not able to, really perform to the level that, some of the producers or the directors might want. And since I just brought up Millie Bobby Brown, remember, that was one of the biggest credits to Stranger Things, the show that she got her breakout performance in, right? Because they were like, oh my God, the kids are so good in that show, right? Let me tell you something. It is one thing for a child actor to give a good performance. It's another thing when the girl don't even speak. Her entire performance, it's all sign language because she's deaf. It's all sign. And she brings it. I'm talking about the emotion. Like she is the emotional center of this film. And dude, and look, and guess what? She don't even sign much in the film. She don't have to. Her expressions alone conveys the message to us, the audience. She is the MVP of this film. Hands down. She's the MVP of this film. No question. Best performance. Get that girl her flowers right goddamn now. Do it right now. Do it right now. Where's her bouquet? Where's her bouquet? Y'all bringing the bouquet? Y'all better get that little girl her bouquet. She did that. All right. So real quick, before I lose it, we got another $5 super chat from I'm Sorry Wilson. Thanks so much. He says thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong versus the Pterodactyl. Spoiler alert, if it ain't gonna be the monkey or the lizard. Pterodactyl? I am not familiar with that term, but I'm sorry, Wilson. We will be talking spoilers on the tail end of the review. So sit tight, homie. So once again, let's talk about those human characters real quick, and then I'm jumping off of them. They didn't bother me as much. Like I said, the main story with Skarsgård and Hall's characters and whatnot, that I dug. I will say this though, like, part of that I felt could have been streamlined. I don't think they actually had to go to Hollow Earth in this film. I'll be honest with you, because I feel like that could have been a movie just by itself. And I think it would have been even more interesting if it was more than just one, like, not trying to rewrite the movie, but I'm just saying that was a momentous sort of occasion for the franchise, and the fact that it kind of plays out almost like a subplot, like a B-list storyline in this movie. I'm like, dude, we could have done a full-blown, like, you know, Journey to the Center of the Earth, right? The race, you know, we had the space race, and now we're doing the race for Hollow Earth. And we could have had all these different parties and all these different organizations and companies and countries and crews, you know, racing the Hollow Earth and whatnot. But we didn't do that. Which was kind of weird. Which was kind of weird. But that was still good, and I thought the characters in that storyline were still good. My only real complaint about some of the, you know, the subplots and the characters had to do with the Maddie and Bernie thing when they're investigating Apex, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because a lot of that story we actually could have gotten just in exposition. Really, all the information we got from that story. You want to know what I think they should have done? Here's the thing. Okay, so first off, the fat best friend, he shouldn't have even been in the movie. He's the one character that was the most superfluous. There's no reason he should have been in the movie at all. His jokes weren't that funny. He was just there to be bumbling fat guy, which apparently we need a bumbling fat guy. Stop doing that shit. He should not have been in the movie at all. His character should not have been in that. It should have just been Maddie and Bernie. Or guess what? I've heard some people complain about Bernie. How about you just do Maddie and her dad? How about that? Just them two. But I'm going to tell you actually what I think might have worked even better in this film, because two other characters we do not get enough of, and they were two of actually the most interesting ones in the movie. And that was, I believe it's Walter Simmons, who is the CEO and founder of Apex Cybernetics. So he's the big tycoon who paid for the expedition to Hollow Earth, and he's also the one responsible for the big, you know, mystery conspiracy going on in the movie. Him and the gentleman he's working with, his partner, which I heard that character is supposed to be it's Ren Serizawa. And that character, I don't know if y'all know this. Do y'all know that character is supposed to be the son of Ken Watanabe's character from the previous Godzilla films? Did y'all know that? Why was that never mentioned in the movie? And why was that not apparent? And why did we not get enough scenes between the two of them? Those characters by themselves could have given us all the explanation, all the exposition for all the Apex cybernetic stuff. It really should have been their POV, that subplot. And I think the film would have been stronger for it, because at least then we would have had more time to breathe with the people who are supposed to be the villains, but they're not really villains. That's the thing. The Maddie storyline makes it the Maddie Birdie storyline makes it seem like they're, you know, it's like, oh my God, like, you know, I knew Apex was dirty and da 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 da. But if you really think about it, no. Godzilla started attacking fucking people for no good goddamn reason. Everyone's trying to figure out why, and Walter's like, fuck why. We need to protect ourselves. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, that is a giant lizard with atomic breath raining hellfire upon innocent people. We need to do something. How is he the villain? How is he the villain? I'll wait. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the headliners, right? The two biggest characters in the movie, right? Godzilla and Kong. Okay, so my thoughts on them. First and foremost, this is probably my favorite version of King Kong. I have seen, like I said, this is what, the 12th King Kong movie. So yeah, the 12th film in the King Kong franchise. So I've seen about half of them. And I'm talking about the OG ones, right? Like I've seen about half of those. And I would say that, yeah, this is definitely my favorite version of Kong. This version of Kong is, the boy is a G. Kong's first interaction when we finally make it to Hollow Earth was the most gangster shit I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, that's the king. That's the king right there. And for the record, I'm Team Godzilla, but homies fighting over rams. They want to be the king, but long live the chief. Kong did that. I was like, no argument with me, good sir. No argument with me. Yeah, Kong did that. I totally dug all the stuff with him and Gia. I thought it was really cool. Again, we do get the backstory about their relationship. I do kind of wish we spent a little bit more time with them by themselves, as opposed to them being joined by other people or other people observing Kong and Gia as their interaction. Like, I wish we would have seen just them in private more. Especially once we find out how it is Gia is able to communicate with Kong. Like, I feel like they should have had some private conversations just with them that we should have seen, right? So we could see how their relationship actually plays out, instead of just being told what their relationship is. This is an instance where you should show us, don't tell us. Okay, we need to see that. Because the backstory tells us what we need to know. Kong is essentially her surrogate father. That's his role, because we heard the backstory about, her parents and what happened to them and how Kong sort of protected her. Like, that's all we needed to know in terms of you telling us stuff. Kong is supposed to be her surrogate father. So let us see that relationship play out. Godzilla, on the other hand, I'm going to tell you this. They played Godzilla as if he was the antagonist of this film. And you know what? I'm glad that my dog decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'll be the villain, because y'all are doing stuff y'all ain't supposed to be doing. And I'm about to unleash atomic hell on that ass. Oh, dude, opening of the movie. Dude, when Godzilla rolled into Florida, I don't like what y'all humans is doing. I don't like what this company is doing. I know you're up. I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. And I'm going to raise this sucker to the ground. And Kong. But I will say this. In that fight, Godzilla now, bro. I'm just like, Godzilla, bro. It's me. Come on, man. You know me, baby. Come on, Team Godzilla. But let's be real about this. It was kind of unfair, wasn't it? Because Godzilla got spikes, he got claws, he got fangs, and 2-3 weeks leading up to this movie, I kept telling people he has a tail. You don't know how huge of an advantage just having an extra limb serves, and that tail ain't no joke. Kong could, square up with Godzilla all he want, and then next thing you know, bam! What was that? What hit me? got a tail. Look at it. It's giant. It's huge. And then, of course, atomic breath. I mean, that's kind of the big. But we got the equalizer in this fight, though, right? Because Kong got that. He has that axe, which the blade of which is this is a very minor spoiler. That the blade of Kong's axe is not from Godzilla himself. It's supposedly from another one of Godzilla's species, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, kind of cool. So, what did I think about the fights? The fights are awesome, all of them. I was a little surprised by how the last fight went. Like, not in terms of the result, just sort of how it played out, right? Because another real minor spoiler, very minor spoiler, because you can probably tell just from the trailer, right? There are at least three fights. Three in this film, at least three. It's actually it's like four, really. If you think about it, 1, 2, 3, it's really like four fights. But there's at least three. Right? And the first three, pretty like I was like, okay, yeah, right? But the last one, the way it played out, that did take me by. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't see that happening. And then, of course, the reason why there wasn't another fight after that one, I didn't see it happening. Like, I was like, okay, I see what y'all did there. That was clever. I see what y'all did there. So yeah. Okay. Music. Let's talk about the music real quick, guys. Real quick. The action and effects. Action is awesome. Effects were really good. Hollowed Earth was amazing. And it actually looked a lot better than I thought it would, because I was afraid it was going to look like a video game. And it didn't as much as I thought it would. So I actually appreciated that. But by and large, just like the effects are good. Everything looks good. There is one questionable character design, but I can't talk about that until I get into the spoiler part. So if you guys haven't seen the film yet, go ahead, pause this, come back to that spoiler part, and I'll let you guys know which character design I'm talking about. But there was one character design I was like, ooh, I don't know about that, right? Okay, but other than that, like I said, action is awesome. The visuals are awesome. Everything's cool. Music-wise, there were some interesting choices because the songs we that were chosen for like the downtime moments. Particularly with Kong, because he's the one that gets all the downtime moments. I thought were interesting choices. I was like, oh, okay. But I see what they were going for, because they were trying to humanize Kong in this film. Again, remember what I said about how it seemed as though Godzilla was supposed to be the heel in this fight and Kong was supposed to be the face? That's wrestling terms for you guys. Heel is a bad guy, face is a good guy. That is how they sort of set up the conflict in the film. Yeah, Godzilla is supposed to be the heel. So with Kong, from our first scene with him, we have to humanize him, right? We have to make him, we're using kind of, joyful music and stuff like that. Like, Kong don't get gritty until you mess with him or one of his people. Then that's when he got to take you out. But so long as you leave him the hell alone, you leave his the hell alone, he cool as a cucumber, right? Didn't nobody tell Godzilla to bring his old spiky ass up here, starting shit with my peoples. That's pretty much what Kong's whole deal was. All right, so what final thoughts on the film? Wrapping up the non-spoiler section. I thought it was good. Highly recommended. If you like monster movies, you'll dig it. If you like kaiju movies, you'll dig it. I will also go as far as to say, I think if you like any of the Legendary Pictures films, so like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, or Kong Skull Island, you'll like this. I will say this. Probably the best of the Godzilla movies. But I wouldn't go as far necessarily to say it's better than Skull Island. Just because, I'm gonna be honest, because the human characters in Skull Island I thought were actually better than they were in this, just because of how much they got to do. Like I said, one of my major criticisms about this film is that there are too many human characters, and the few that were actually needed should have been given more to do. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why Alexander Skarsgård is in this movie, because anybody could have done his role. You got Alexander Skarsgård, and you don't use him to his capacity. Like, why him? What's the point of him if you're not going to let that boy do his thing? Alexander Skarsgård is a fantastic actor. Fantastic actor. I don't know why he's in this if he's only going to be using that capacity. I thought it was a waste. Honestly, everything he did in the movie, y'all could have let Rebecca Hall's character do. Seriously, y'all could have just let her do that. Yeah, I don't. That one I do not understand. Anyway, yeah, I don't get why they did that. Deshaun Patterson Powers says he needed the check. I'm not talking about why he took the role. I'm talking about why would they cast him if his character was going to be so limited. That's a waste of an actor. If you going to cast Alexander Skarsgård, let that boy. It goes back to what I said about Hugo Weaving in Captain America: First Avenger. Why would you cast Hugo Weaving if you're going to keep him chained like that? Let that boy off the leash and let him do what he does. Because if you let him do what he does, you're gonna get magic. That's what I'm saying. Shit, I would have. You know what? They should have let Skarsgård been the villain. They should have let him play Walter. Dude. Oh my God. I know Walter's supposed to be an older man, but I'm just saying, if Skarsgård was in that role, bruh. He'd have killed it if he was in that role. Now, granted, it's like, but wait a minute, if they kept the role the same, just like it is with the guy in this film, then it would have been the same complaint. Yes, I know, it would have been the same. Ugh. All right, so that is going to wrap up the non-spoiler portion of the review. For those of you all getting ready to check out now, want to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining me tonight. As always, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, facebook.com/OAW Entertainment, twitter.com/OAW ENTMT, twitch.tv/OAW_entertainment, right here on youtube.com/OAW Entertainment. And last but certainly not least, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW. The links to all of those are in the description box below. I might have to give me a link tree, man, because the links are starting to pile up on me. So thanks again. Stay tuned. Got some more. I'm going to be streaming again. I got another one tomorrow night for you guys, another top 5. And I'll actually be premiering a video on Sunday as opposed to streaming. I'll be premiering it on Sunday. So keep an eye out for that too. All right. Is everyone in attendance ready? This is the final warning. Spoilers are coming. All right. Spoilers are coming. Is everyone out of the building? Yes. All right. Because when I change the banner and when I change the graphic, the spoiler portion kicks off. So if you don't want spoilers, get your ass about you now. Final warning. All right. We good. All right. And I just got to change. All right. Spoiler time, ladies and gentlemen. So who won the fight? I don't give a fuck what nobody says. There is no way you gonna sit up there and convince me Kong won this fight. Kong got his ass whipped from here to Timbuktu and back. Paint me a picture of how Kong won this motherfucker. How did he win? He lost the first one. Granted, yes, He was, and hang on. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call the ace a spade, and the goose a goose, right? Okay. Number one, Kong was sedated at 86% when Godzilla attacked him on that fucking barge. True. Number two, he was chained for half of the fight. True. Number three, he was out of his element. He was in deep water. And of course, Kong can't swim. All of those things are true. Fact still remains. How did Kong survive that fight? He had to play dead. Why? Because Godzilla came to bust that ass. Second fight. Kong shows up in Hong Kong after Godzilla already been there, right? Start boxing him. He got the axe, right? Start working that axe, slicing through the atomic breath and all that. I get that. Kong won the second fight. True. He lost that second fight. But the third fight, my man came at him with the mouth, with the claws, with that damn tail. Work Kong's ass to the point. Literally to the point. Real quick, did y'all catch the Martha moment in the movie? That's what I call it. I call it the Martha moment. I said, wait a minute, did we just have the Martha moment? Why did you say that name? Literally, Kong is on the ground, Godzilla's right on top of him, and then he just roars in his face, and fucking Kong just roars back, and they just, I'm like, is that the Martha moment? There was a Martha moment. But yeah, even that third fight, Godzilla put that sucker down, put the boot on him, boot on the chest, just stomping his fucking ass, right? And then how did Kong survive that? He had to be defibrillated, which was a nice little throwback to the original Kong versus Godzilla, the 62 one, the original one. Because that happens in that film too. It's a little different, but it happened. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. Kong has to be defibrillated, but yeah, Kong had to be. The boy damn near died. Last time I checked, that's 2 rounds to 1. And I don't want to hear this shit about, Mechagodzilla beat Godzilla and Kong beat Mechagodzilla, which means that Kong. No, nigga, that ain't how this works. That ain't how this works. And you talking about something that took place after Kong done already lost the fight. By the time Mechagodzilla showed up, the fight was already over. Victory, Godzilla. Booyah. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. Okay. Now real quick. Oh, so a couple of things I want to hit on now that we're talking spoilers. Okay, let's talk about Mechagodzilla. Like I said, the whole subplot with the Mechagodzilla reveal and everything, like I said, you did not necessarily, like I said, if you were going to do Maddie and Bernie, it should have just been them two, or it should have been Maddie and her dad. But you did not need the third friend there. He was so fucking why do we keep doing that? That shit ain't funny. And who the fuck is it in this movie for? Moving on. But no, seriously, the Mechagodzilla thing, that whole subplot, I think Simmons and what's your boy? Rin. I know that's his first name, but what's the last name again? Saragawa? Is that, let me see. Saragawa. Yeah, Saragawa. We should have gotten all of that through them. I'm gonna be honest. I think that would have been much better. It would have been much cooler if we would have gotten that material through them. So yeah. Now the thing about that though. Oh, Zawa. I'm sorry, Sarazawa. My fault. I said Zawa. I'm sorry. Now. So I'm pretty sure you guys, if you caught what I said in the first half, the character design that I thought was kind of questionable. Of course, I'm talking about Mechagodzilla. I'm talking about the design for him because, I mean, it's better than the old ones. But I'm like, come on. I was like, I don't know about that. There were some elements of his design I thought were kind of questionable. But But the one thing I will give them credit for, he does very much like he does look robotic. He definitely looks like a robot. They didn't do the Transformer thing where because part of me was like, why didn't y'all go for more so of a sort of, like I said, like the Transformer thing, right? Where kind of like how Grimlock looks in Age of Extinction. Like that would have been perfect for a Mechagodzilla design, right? But the thing was, they weren't trying to make him look organic. They weren't trying to make him look like he could exist. You know what I mean? He was very much supposed to look artificial. Very much supposed to look robotic, right? So, okay, I see what y'all did there, and I do like the way like how they did the spikes down the back and how they moved and whatnot, and I like the rocket propulsion that he had like in his joints and stuff, like in his elbow and in the wrist and stuff like that. Because I mean, dude, he was throwing Superman punches all day. But I will say this though, but I couldn't help but think about Pacific Rim, because the Jaegers in Pacific Rim do the same thing. They have a rocket propulsion like right at the elbow whenever they're throwing punches. So that's what made me think of that. And I will say this too though, because I did find this interesting. So the reason why the big fight with Mechagodzilla even happens in the first place is because the system got fried. Walter and Sawazawa they both got killed, and so the AI took over. Did you notice how animal the AI was? I found that very interesting, because I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure if old boy was still piloting Mechagodzilla, he wouldn't have fought against Godzilla as well. I'm like, nah, that was sort of like a primordial, sort of like hindbrain AI that took over. And remember, they used Ghidorah's one of the heads to create the Psyoptic link to pilot Mechagodzilla. So that was, I was like, yeah, that was probably his consciousness taking over, King Ghidorah's consciousness taking over. Because that aspect of the fight I did like. But like I said, like it did sort of end. I didn't think Godzilla was going to hit his. I didn't think he was going to get his ass kicked like that. I really didn't. I didn't think they would make it so one-sided that Kong would have to team up and join the fight. Like I knew that's what was going to happen. I knew that from when the first trailer dropped. I was like, yeah, they're going to fight each other, but then at the end, a greater threat's going to show up, and they're going to have to team up and defeat the greater threat. That's how we always tell these stories, right? But I didn't know they were going to make it that one side. Like, let's be real about this. Kong don't enter that fight, we're like, Godzilla's gone. That's it. And it wouldn't have even. And here's the other thing too, though. I do think had Godzilla fallen, Mechagodzilla would have taken out King Kong too. I don't think Kong lives if Godzilla is taken out. You feel me? So, but I mean, now that I think about it, yeah, that does make more sense. You have to make Mechagodzilla a threat to warrant both of them being needed in order to beat them. And that fight was cool. That fight was cool though. Yeah, Kong went ham. He went ham with that axe, boy. That was good stuff. So real quick, before I wrap up, I want to make sure I touch on DeJean's question from earlier when he says, how do you feel about the new films making Godzilla seem more heroic than an antagonistic force of nature character? Well, here's the thing about that though. So here's the thing about that. If you go back to the old Godzilla films, if you go back to the Toho tradition, Godzilla had been sort of a heroic character ever since his third movie. I'm also remembering Godzilla in the first movie was female. I think the male is her spawn, and that's the one from the second movie. So ever since, but I think even in the second one, Godzilla was still somewhat of a villain. I think it's the third movie when he starts fighting the other monsters that he is more of a hero. So they've actually been doing that for a while. So that's not anything new. I would say that the heroic characterization of Kong is the new one. That no, Toho did that too, though. They did that too, because Kong was the hero in the original Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah. So yeah, they did that. They did that too. They did that in that too. Yeah. But I do like the symbolism that they give the respective characters in their films, pretty much like in this franchise. Like I do like that. And I've heard I like the way this was described. So real quick, shout out to the guys over at Midnight Edge. Because Tom over at Midnight's Edge, in his discussion of the film, he used this comparison. He said Godzilla, Kong is the defender of man, Godzilla is the defender of Earth, which is why Kong is a king and Godzilla is a god. And I like that distinction. I like that distinction between the two and the respective role that they play within that universe. And I'm like, that's how. Yeah, that is spot on. That is a good distinction. I really like that. All right. So any other thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong? Any spoiler thoughts? Let me see. No, I think I hit on everything I wanted to catch. I think I did. Yeah. Okay, so as to not make this video too damn long, we will go ahead and we will wrap things up with a couple of questions before we get out of here. So let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat, shall we? And I'll actually keep this graphic up because you guys can at this point talk spoilers. Just try to not drop too many because I'm thinking of the people who will come in and watch this afterwards. Yeah, I mean, you know how it goes. The comments are dark and full of spoilers, but go ahead. Let's see. So the Big Sam Broski says, wait, actually, let me go ahead and change this real quick so I can blow the comments up. There we go. The Big Sam Broski says, I honestly like King of the Monsters more, how a lot of the fights had more of atmosphere and effect due to the monsters and their presence. True enough. Okay. And then I'm going back to I'm sorry, Wilson's super chat. He says thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong versus the Terrescue. So I'm assuming you're talking about Mechagodzilla. Spoiler alert, it ain't gonna be the monkey or the lizard. D&D references all day. Oh, okay, that's a D&D reference. Like I said, the fight was fine. I was just shocked by how formidable they made Mechagodzilla. I didn't think they'd make him that good. Little deaf girl feeling Kong's heartbeat through the ground. Yeah, I know. Very tough, right? Very tough. Let's see. Shot red. That's Nick. Oh, sorry, contact drying out. Nick, he says, so is the movie worth watching or not? Of course it is. Of course it is. Let's see. The Big Sam Broski says Apex security was for me the biggest issue. Yeah, because Maddie and Bernie did sort of infiltrate their facilities too easy. Yeah, that is true. Trying to add the theme of technology versus nature. I don't think they did a good job if that was the case. Because again, all of the technology stuff is in the background for it's because they try to make it a mystery and shit. So that never really came to the foreground in terms of the thematic nature of the film. So I could see that argument being made, but I hope no one makes that argument, because this isn't the film that makes that argument. It doesn't do a good enough job at it, I don't think. Because if you were going to do that, we should have known about Mechagodzilla at the start of the movie. We should have seen them build him, develop him, all that jazz throughout the movie. And then we could have had the whole argument about, oh, well, aren't you going a little bit too far about the responsibility of wielding something that powerful? Who is that to serve? Is it supposed to serve your country, or is it, your company, or your country, or the good of your fellow man? Because what happens if your company rivals with another company, or if your country rivals with another country, and the type of interest that comes into play when you have a weapon of that magnitude at your disposal? Mechagodzilla should have been the analog for the atomic bomb that the original Godzilla always was. And we don't get that in this film. None of that comes up. So, yeah. Jakeem says, no, Larry, you don't get it. Animal rights supersede human rights. I don't get that. You're talking about in why everyone was trying to figure out, like, oh, Godzilla went crazy and we got to figure out why. And it's like, no, Godzilla didn't go crazy. Godzilla went Godzilla. Big Sam Broski says, Larry, do you think Kong would grow more? Because they mentioned in the time step he grew a lot. Well, oh, you mean past this movie? It depends on how much he grew over the time skip. Because what is 50 years, I think, in between? Goddamn gnats. Fruit flies. Damn things. But yeah, it's like 50 years in between this and Skull Island. So it depends on how much he grew in that time period. Jakeem says, I like the fact that he was spamming his atomic. He did. Godzilla be like, Hadouken. Oh, man. Okay. Yes, DeJean, I did watch on HBO Max. Let's see. All right. I think was taking command from one of the hit. Right. Mention that. Oh, Big Sam Broski, which monster would you expect to appear next? I would like to see Destroya or Gigan. I'll be honest. I don't know. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Legendary Pictures agreement with Toho, that ended last year. So as it stands, there are no plans currently to continue this line of films. But as you guys know, that could change, because all they got to do is just draw up a new agreement, right? So we're just waiting to see. I would think, though, that the next film is going to be Kong in Hollowed Earth. And so whatever new, boss monster they introduce would be one that is already in Hollow Earth. So that's my guess. But to whom it will be, I'm not entirely. God, dog, dead. Thank you. Bye. Disrespectful ass bugs. This is what I got to deal with. All right. Let's see. And I am almost caught up. Groovy. So let's see. What is it? Okay. Danger Man 444 says, "Hey Larry, not related to Godzilla vs. Kong, but are you keen for the new Mortal Kombat movie?" Yes, I am. I will definitely be watching and reviewing that. Yes, sir. I am waiting. As soon as I start a movie, was it movie? Think okay. All right, guys. So that will do it for comments. All right, so just shy of an hour. Not bad. All right. So I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to thank all of you for tuning in live. Thanks everyone for watching after the fact. As always, once again, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, facebook.com/OAW Entertainment, twitter.com/OAWENTMT, twitch.tv/OAW_entertainment. Right here, become a subscriber, become one of the faithful if you have not yet done so at youtube.com/OAW Entertainment. And last but certainly not least, if you got, wrong one. There it is. If you guys have a request for a film that you would like to see reviewed right here on OAW Entertainment, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW and select the blockbuster tier. In addition, with your request for the movie of your choice, you also get access to all Patreon exclusive content. You get access to the OAW Vault, which is the collection of the original 2 seasons of Otaku Assemble Weekly, the weekly anime and manga review web series that kicked off the channel. And you also get an invite to join in on the live monthly Q&A held right here on the OAW YouTube channel, as well as the OAW Facebook page and Twitch channels. So if you want to get in on the fun, like the insane freaking monthly Q&A we just had a few days ago, at the beginning of this week, craziness. You get to join in on that, right? Once again, that is patreon.com/OAW and select that blockbuster tier. Okay, so what to keep an eye out for later this week. And tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow night, another live stream, 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is another top 5. And this time I am doing top 5 favorite superhero film and television performances. So my favorite portrayals of comic book characters in live action film and television. That top 5 is going to be tomorrow night at 8. And then Sunday will be the premiere of the Mosaic Review. I pre-recorded that, and it will be released Sunday night. So keep an eye out for that. All right. So with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I am signing off. And until next time, guys, peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?